We are planetariums, experts in action. Welcome to our program, consisting in a series of experts that went into the file of knowledge. In the last few days, our group of experts started a deeply investigations about different topics, starting from science and technology to historical events. In this program, they will be introducing three main topics: science versus technology, plus health, and get informed, get in contact. Let's go, find out. Hi, I'm Audrey. I started my investigation on the Houston Museum of Natural Science, where I find very interesting topics. Okay, let's start with what is science? There is a wide variety of definitions about science. The World Federation of Science Journalists defines it as a form of systematic knowledge that seeks to understand nature through concrete and objective elements. Thomas Hobbes said that science is the knowledge of the effects and the interaction between one fact and another. I, according to what we have lived, would define science as the set of knowledge obtained through a methodical process through which we seek to understand what surrounds us. It is a way of expressing what science is without falling into big problems of inclusion or exclusion of concepts. As for technology, its definition becomes a bit more complicated. There are people who consider technology as an artifact, while others consider it as a system, and others as a type of knowledge. Aristotle said that science was what takes care of the truth, while technology takes care of utility. But from what I have observed, I could define technology as the way to apply science to solve a problem. Another thing that I could observe throughout this research was that science and technology is involved in almost every aspect of our life, from what we eat to the energy we use to charge our phones. Obviously, all these advances bring pros and cons, but in general, I think that it has brought a benefit to the world. It allows us to be more connected with each other. It increases the quality and hope of life. It improves production processes and it creates new job opportunities, among other things. Thanks, Audrey. Now we will get in contact with our experts in Plus Health.
Hi, I'm Natalia.
My name is Esther.
We went to the Health Museum of Houston. There, I get aware about the importance of the medical advances for humanity.
And I went to the exposition of DNA to learn about genetic engineering.
Throughout history, humanity has been making medical advances to improve the human health, finding cures and solutions to different epidemics and viruses developing around the world. Vaccines, anesthesia, penicillin, and antiviral drugs are some of the main creations to save people's lives. Along with them, the germ theory, medical imaging, and organ transplantation form part of the evolution of medical science. Digging deeper, antibiotics and vaccines play an important role while treating an epidemic. I actually learned that vaccination equals prevention, since vaccines keep viruses from taking hold of the body, instead of treating a disease after the body is affected. In this stage, an antibiotic is now needed. Antibiotics kill bacteria and treat people that have already been infected by a virus. Now, let's talk about the latest. Artificial intelligence is now one of the greatest advances and accomplishments of humanity. It has been developing throughout the 21st century. This source of understanding is capable to diagnose, treat, and prevent diseases, some of them being invisible to the naked eye. Despite this fact, it is not so powerful as non-artificial judgment. Human and animal intelligence are not so different among each other. Moreover, animals behave and act according to their instincts, while in addition, we humans rationalize and analyze the situation to come up with a decision. Here is where the mind and brain take action. Some people think that brain and mind are the same, but they actually differ from each other. Scientists state that the mind is responsible for thoughts, feelings, memories, and beliefs. It is the source of our behavior. In the other side, the brain is the physical source of the mind. In fact, if you are having a thought, it's because your brain is actually doing something. Specifically, it is working on electrical signals to make out the thought for your mind.
Are you aware that most of the products we consume today are genetically modified? Which area of science is the one specialized in this? What does it mean, genetic engineering? Genetic engineering is a branch of biotechnology in which genetics is manipulated and altered. This implicates taking a specific gene of DNA in one organism and inserting it in another one, in order to modify the hereditary characteristic of an organism. Due to the exponential increase in population in recent years, our society had to find a way to control the reproduction and characterization of certain organisms, such as plants and animals, and even human characteristics. They find a solution in DNA by analyzing it, cutting and editing. As we all know, plants are a fundamental part of life. We are all dependent on plants. They create the oxygen we breathe, give us the food we eat, and also build the environment where we live. Environmental conditions can affect the number of plants that are produced or their quality. This is why the society has been in need of improving the plants' productivity, with the objective of avoiding lack of food, since the space and resources to cultivate are limited. This is why plant breeding is so important. It gives us the opportunity of cultivating and growing plants with larger size and more nutrients, using less natural resources and increasing their resistance to certain factors such as viruses, pests, or pollution. If we are able to do plants breeding, can we do it in animals? Animal breeding was used to increase the quantity of nutrients in each animal, as well as changing certain qualities such as strength, size, adaptability, and resistance to diseases, with the objective of increasing their lifespan. If we can modify genes in order to improve an organism, we can also correct an organism with a genetic defect by using gene therapy. To achieve this, it's necessary to have a functioning copy of the gene, which will be transported in a lentiviral vector, delivered into stem cell of the patient, which is really important human cell with the ability to develop into another type of cell, or even repairing damaged tissue, and inserting it into their DNA. This is used to control and cure diseases such as cancer, blood and immune system, or central nervous diseases. Another method to correct an organism DNA is CRISPR. Clustered regularly intersect short palindromic repeats. It's used to edit the DNA using a protein named Cas9, which cut the DNA and guide RNA to recognize the sequence that will be edited. There is a case that caught my attention, the case of two gene-edited babies. These babies are twins. Their names are Lulu and Nana. They both had a gene surgery because even though they had a healthy mother, their father had HIV. The surgery was made when they were just a cell, during the pregnancy, with the objective of removing the possibility to have HIV. After a few days, they checked their whole genome by doing some blood tests. Fortunately, they born as a pair of healthy twins.
Thanks both. Now, for our final topic, we get in contact with our experts and get informed, get in contact.
Hi, my name is Felix, and after visiting the Holocaust Museum, I discovered how people became aware of the event and how technology brings advantages on this task. Before technology gave us access to a great variety of ways of communication, people didn't were aware of events happening all around the world until the word reached their countries. Putting as an example, people didn't know of the Holocaust until World War II was over. Nowadays, you become aware of the war situation no more than 10 minutes after it happens, thanks to the advances in technology that allow things like internet connections and satellite communication, different from the first half of the past century, where telegraphs were the best option for transmitting messages, and you were in need of lines of cable measuring kilometers. Another example is how nowadays the advances of technology have allowed to make human processes and tasks a lot faster, thanks to the invention of computers and the processing powers they have, allowing algorithms to translate text instantly, different from the past where they were required always a printed dictionaries or a person dedicated to translation. This case is seen in Anna Frank's diary, that wasn't known by everyone in the world until it was translated to English in 1952. Today, you can translate messages and text instantly with a communication device that fits in the palm of your hand.
Nowadays, the society has global problems which affect everyone. This is why the advances in science and technology are fundamental. We should be informed of these advances, their pros, cons, and their cost.
Knowing what happened in the past, their characteristics and causes, it's really important because by analyzing our actions as a society and the repercussion in the present, we can prevent ourselves from repeating catastrophic events in the future.
We are constantly in evolution. That is why the technological and scientific advances have the objective of improving our life quality. This involves in constantly analyzing of information, making new discoveries and experimentation, always keeping the track of a better future.
All of the progress of humanity that has been made all over the years has led us up to this point, and for good or for bad, that is our reality. Now it's our responsibility to come out with new questions and new solutions to make this planet a better place.
Thanks all for watching us today. See you next time.